So we're moving now into the Cape Unit 1 2019 Paper 3 questions. The first one says define the term limiting factor. A limiting factor is anything that constrains a population size and slows or stops it from growing. Next question lists three limiting factors which may exist in a coastal ecosystem. What is a coastal ecosystem again, students? Remember, the coastal ecosystem in the Caribbean includes our estuaries, our coastal waters, our mangrove environments, our coral reefs, our seagrass beds, our lagoons, and so on. Temperature, water salinity, light, nutrient levels, and saturation state. Explain how two limiting factors listed may affect the productivity of the seagrass. Now, a seagrass bed is just a underwater ecosystem that is characterized by seagrasses, and seagrasses are like the eel grass, the tape grass, and the turtle grass, and they are primary producers in this aquatic ecosystem. So, therefore, factors like temperature and light are going to be limiting in the process of photosynthesis. So, if they are photosynthesizing and they only have light, then the temperature to start the photosynthetic enzymes are going to be a limiting factor, and vice versa. Carbon dioxide can also be another limiting factor to the process of photosynthesis. Moving on, define the following terms. So we are seeing here fertility rate, migration rate, and doubling time. So the fertility rate at a given age is the number of children born alive to women of that age during the year as a proportion of the average annual population of women of the same age. And to shorten this, you could say the fertility rate is the number of births per 1,000 women between the ages of 15 to 44 in a year. That's the simplified version. And then with the migration rate, it's the rate of increase in a population due to migration. Doubling time is the amount of time it takes for a population to double in size at a constant growth rate. Distinguish between lifespan and life expectancy. Lifespan refers to the maximum number of years an individual can live, and life expectancy refers to an estimate or an average number of years a person can expect to live. Describe three measures which a developing country may need to implement to achieve sustainable development. One, they can eradicate poverty and hunger, and when they do so, the population will get healthier, live longer. Secondly, they can universalize access to basic services such as water, sanitation, and sustainable energy. They can also support their population with development opportunities through inclusive education and decent work. Happy Hotels Incorporation approaches the government of the Caribbean territory for permission to build Port Pornindad, an all-inclusive resort marina. The facility will be located in Breezy Bay, as shown in the figure in your past paper. It is a sheltered area in the coastal region, which is a popular beach and important fishing ground. Construction will require the removal of large areas of coastal vegetation, including areas used by indigenous people. The first question says describe two ways in which the natural resource of Breezy Bay may contribute to the Caribbean country. A natural resource is a material found in nature that has usefulness and economical value. What are some natural resources you're seeing there? Well, I'm seeing water, I'm seeing trees. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing people. These natural resources may contribute to providing food for the community, the water providing a means of transport and a source of food to these indigenous people. The land can contain minerals as well as soil for agricultural production. Also seen a beach area. The sandy beach can provide sediment storage and transport, wave precipitation, and associated buffering against extreme weather events. Those are some things you could talk about there to get your full 6 marks. Happy Hotels is told by the government that the project will impact the environment. Of course, it would, and that an environmental impact assessment will need to be conducted first. Discuss 2 negative environmental impacts which may arise from the project. Look at the question again. They're saying that this is important here. The construction of this hotel will require the removal of large areas of coastal vegetation, including areas used by indigenous people. Those are the negative impacts. You're removing vegetation, you're removing biodiversity, you're removing habitats, right? You're disrupting the biogeochemical cycles, and that's not good for the ecosystem. Also, look at the picture. Look at the livelihood of the indigenous people and their environment. If you do that, disrupt their livelihood and their means of survival. Define the term environmental impact assessment and identify 2 main components of the environmental impact assessment, which Happy Hotels will need to conduct. So, according to the United Nations Environmental Program, so guys, I'm hoping that you're visiting these beautiful websites, especially on environmental science students, because y'all know that the subject that there's not much being done in terms of the diversification in the school resources. So we have to visit websites and blogs and research articles for information. The UNEP defines environmental impact assessment as a tool used to identify the environmental, social, and economic impacts of a project prior to decision making. It aims to predict environmental impacts at an early stage in project planning and design. Find ways and means to reduce adverse impacts, shape projects to suit the local environment, and present the predictions and options. And the question also asks us for 2 main components. So Happy Hotels would need to screen. They also need to provide a large scope to identify which potential impacts are relevant to assess.